Let me know if any of these resonate. Do you think you have a blocked sacral?
I think that I did for a large part of my life.
Okay.
And I did a lot of work on that.
Yes.
So I'm interested to hear what your characteristics are.
Okay.
Because I'm going to reevaluate myself while you talk about it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's fair. Blocked or underactive. So this would be disconnection from emotions, lack of creativity or sexual repression, guilt around pleasure, difficulty forming close relationships, shame or numbness in the body.
You know, it's interesting because during the time of my life when I think that I probably struggled the most with my sacral chakra and I struggled the most with my self-esteem and feeling that disconnect with my physical body was kind of interweaved with these cycles of like huge creativity. So not all of that 100% hits for me.
Right. It's like anything else. I don't think it has to be all or not, but I think some of these would hit and then others wouldn't. Because I've never had a disconnection from my emotions. Ever.
Right.
Like never once.
I will say that I have very strong powers of disassociating when I need to.
Sure.
But that's a tool that's in my toolbox that I only pull out when I'm like triggered to do so. For the most part, I'm like very in tune with my emotions.
Yes. Yep. And I think that's like one of my superpowers too. And then if you have an overactive sacral chakra, these are some of the signs: codependency, emotional overwhelm, obsessive thoughts about sex, validation, or control, and addictive behaviors.
I feel like if you've ever known anybody that's had any of those things kind of raging at the same time, it feels like it's very easy to see all of it at the same time when it's really overactive like that. Because I think one of those things kind of feeds into the other.
Yes. And so when you think about, you know, the sacral chakra, and if you're listening and you're like, oh, I have some of the things that are underactive, or you have some of the things that are overactive, you know, the whole point of bringing your chakras into alignment is to just get them in the middle of both, right? You just want them to be spinning at a high frequency, but not out of balance. You want to keep them somewhat in balance, right? You envision your spine, you envision the chakras on the spine. That's a good visualization of if you think yours is underactive or overactive, how can you apply energy to that? And one of the things that I do a lot if I am doing a meditation, specifically around my sacral, is I will lie with my heels together, my feet together, and I will open my hips.
Oh, like butterfly.
Yep. So it really allows that energy to flow and to be open.
Well, and the sacral chakra is associated with that yin feminine energy. So I think if you are feeling as though this part of your body or your energy center is either overactive or underactive, tapping into that divine feminine can really be beneficial. And that's not just for women, honestly.
Correct.
You know, men and women can tap into both their masculine and feminine sides. So that's one of those things that people don't really want to acknowledge, that we have both masculine and feminine qualities within us.
Yeah.
So this chakra does lean towards the feminine, and that's one really great way to heal.
Yeah, for sure. And it's also associated with the element of water. And so when you think about the fluidity, it just made me think of sex. Just those, you know, how our bodies operate when we start to get ready for any exploration when it comes to that too, is that movement. It's that human nature. It's that beautiful part of being a dynamic woman or man, and just allowing that. And I think in our society, especially living in the United States, it's very taboo. It's very hush hush. It's not something that we openly talk about.
Sensuality or the chakras in general?
No, I'm talking more about how the sacral chakra embodies the sensual and the sexual part of being a human.
Gotcha.
And how that is, for the most part, frowned upon.
Yeah.
So it's something you can do in private. It's not something you have to do out in the public realm, though those lovely people exist out there. So I do think that this chakra in general is one that probably a lot of people, it's underactive, I would have to imagine.
Right.
So
Well, I think for a lot of women that have children, it is underactive, right? Because you're giving so much energy elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But this is one of those chakras that it's also connected to the moon. We mentioned earlier that it's attached to emotions versus just causing straight suffering for yourself, if that makes sense.
I think you should expand.
So if you're talking about being emotional, right, which gets a bad rap, of course, we've talked about this before. Imagine that someone says something to you, right? And then you're reacting to what they said and causing more problems for yourself rather than just like grounding in the moment and being like, okay, I can't control this. That can be one of those little indicators that your chakra is not functioning properly. If you feel that need to react,
sure,
rather than to kind of turn the other cheek, so to speak, that can be an indicator that like, hey, maybe you should give your sacral chakra a little love.